Hey everyone, Ryan Young, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you're doing well. So, have you left a jiu-jitsu school and then when you tried to touch base with your old professor, instructor, they kind of ghost you? Or even worse, they not only ghost you, they didn't ghost you, but instead they chewed you out. Like just cussed you out, all pissed off at you. Basically what they did was they took it personally that you went to another school. And that happens a lot, unfortunately. And one of the things that comes out is loyalty, right? You know, they expect this undying loyalty to their jiu-jitsu school. You know, you're part of this team now, you need to be loyal to this school. You know, one thing I've never told any of my students is they need to be loyal to KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu, right? If you want to stay, then stay. If you don't want to stay, then better off that you leave. I think I might have mentioned it in a video in the past, but imagine two circles. One circle has all my jiu-jitsu relationships. Another circle has my personal relationships. Now sometimes the circles will cross, right? And you'll have an overlap of where the two circles meet. And what that means is that I have friends, personal friends, that also are jiu-jitsu students or jiu-jitsu members, one of the two, right? So they're in both circles. I've got friends that don't do jiu-jitsu, and I've got jiu-jitsu members that are not friends. Right. We're cordial, right? Student-teacher relationship kind of thing. But then you get some that, I both hang out with, I have dinner with, I hang out with, all that stuff, right? However, let's say one of the people who is in both circles decides to extricate himself from jiu-jitsu. And even worse, not only to extricate himself from KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu, but to go to another school and train. Does that mean that he loses his spot in the friendship circle as well? For me, no. And I historically have been able to break those two up. Meaning, yes, we're friends and we do jiu-jitsu, but you're going to go to another school, so we're still friends, but you just don't train with me. Now, what that means is that being that you're not going to be in KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu, I'm not going to see you as often because that's where I spend all my time, right? But if there is a time when we can get together, then of course, yeah, let's get together. We'll hang out, whatever, just our families will and all that kind of good stuff. So, but I've heard of stories where somebody leaves a jiu-jitsu school and then they bump into their professor at the supermarket, neighborhood supermarket. Hey, professor, how you doing? Just looks at him and walks away. Wow, right? That's not me. And it's not Dave either. But I can see why people would do that because, as Grandmaster Hickson once said in a video about training at two different schools, he says, yes, you're paying a membership to be a member of the school, right? So for you, it's a transaction. But for me, that revenue is needed to keep the school open. Without that revenue, there is no school. But since you're here, I'm going to give you everything that I have. I'm going to give you all my knowledge. I'm going to give you my time. I'm going to think about you. As Hickson said, I'm going to treat you as if you're one of my family members. Now, for you to leave that family, it's a very personal thing. And I get it, right? But like I said, I've done a lot of soul searching over the last 10 years, and I've come to the realization that I can be friends with someone who leaves my studio, right? And even if there might have been, from that person's perspective, a problem, right? I had one student who chewed me out. He was really pissed off at me because I had said something to him that I thought was right, but we agreed to disagree on this particular subject, and he reacted differently, and he got upset with me. And 2-3 weeks later, we talked about it. He left the school, but he would message me from time to time. I'd still message him back, right? Calls me, I'd still talk to him. I had no problems with him. We still had, a friendship in the circle of friends. And, he was never, in that point, he was never a close friend of mine, but he was still a former student, and I care for all my students. And even my former students, I kind of want to know what's going on in their lives, but, being that he's not my student anymore, then I'm not going to, spend as much mental and emotional energy thinking about him. But yeah, every once in a while I do want to know. Eventually he did come back, we did kind of patch things up and he came back. But the only reason why he could come back was because I never reciprocated the anger and the frustration. I just said, when things change, or if they change, give me a call and let's talk about it. If you want to come back, we'll work it out again. And sure enough, it was able to be done. And he wasn't the first. He's definitely not the last. I've had a lot of students that have left for various reasons and have come back. But I know of other professors that I know where, you might have a student who might have been kind of far up in the belts, so meaning he'd been there for a while and had a job change and he moves. And then this professor gets upset that, basically saying, you only took the job change so you could go to this other school, which was by your new job, right? I think, wow, that's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, the student comes back and this professor is still kind of holding a grudge, which is kind of sad, right? But, like I mentioned in other videos, I try to just be happy in the way I live. I try not to be upset, and I try to just, I love doing this, so I'm not going to let any negative event take me down. And just like with your jiu-jitsu, when somebody is beating you, when you are being the nail and somebody's just hammering you, not only somebody, but everybody's hammering you, don't take it personally. Just think to yourself, what can I do differently today than what can I do differently tomorrow that happened today? And just be a little introspective and make some changes. In fact, I did have a student who was feeling that way. He was just having a rough day. He goes, man, I don't know what's going on, but I'm having a really rough day. And I saw it on the mat. He was just getting smashed by everybody. And I said, don't worry about it. We all have days like this. The key is just to think about it and don't get upset about it and just come back a better person tomorrow. Just a little bit better, right? That's all we need. Anyway, I hope this helped you guys because it really helps me to get it out and talk to you guys about it. But you can come and see us over at our studios, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. We have one in Dallas, Texas, which is technically in Flower Mound, Texas. We have one in Irvine, California, which is technically in Laguna Hills, California. And we have one in Austin, which is actually in Austin. And you can also see us at KAATAROJujitsuOnline.com if you want to see our curriculum and you want to see all the stuff that Master Dave teaches to us. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.